My name is Paul, and I'm the co-founder of Crash My Table. My wife normally presents with me, but she's a little feeling under the weather, so I'll be doing this by myself. What is Crash My Table? Basically, it's the opposite of do not disturb on your hotel door. So basically, you would put a Crash My Table on your table, like let's say if you're at a coffee shop or at a restaurant or a fast food shop, and you would put it on your table, and it's allowing someone to invite someone to come and meet with you. And it's a friendship starter. In the age of social media, this is a great way to create face-to-face. So as we're doing here, we're doing networking. So you could either put it on the table, which until momentum gets behind this, nobody knows about it right now. So until momentum gets, what I do is I take my Crash My and I walk up to someone, and when they're sitting at Cane's is my favorite restaurant, so shout out to Cane's restaurant. I'll take the Crash My Table, and I'll show someone and say, hey, do you mind if I crash your table? And I show them, it's like a card to sit there, and they're like, what? Just want to, talk. And it's worked every time. No one's ever turned it down. And I've met amazing people. I've actually met a guy who was carried JFK's coffin. So that was really cool. I met a famous bull rider by doing it. So it's an amazing way. So it basically turns every public spot into a friendship generator. Where do we see Crash My Table be done at? Everywhere. Anywhere there's pretty much a public spot. So that could be universities, schools. We're doing a school initiative this year the school year 18 and 19 this year coming up. Universities, businesses, pretty much where you got people, a public spot. Even airports, what do you call it? Restaurants and airports and stuff. This is an ancient proverb. So what we are doing, the most valuable thing that we have in this world is relationships. And there's a quote that says, relationships are more valuable than gold. And I can actually show you and actually prove that with actual numbers, which is pretty crazy and stuff. So we are designing a way for the entire world to practice one of the most valuable skills, and that's turning a stranger into a friend. Our goal in the next 12 months is to create 1 million new friendships. We're probably going to, kind of keep it USA, but it might expand throughout the world. But our goal is and we have means to track that we made that number. So we have an ability to track that we made our goal of 1 million friendships. There's been a lot of attention in the news in the last couple months. Even executives that are quitting Facebook, they are saying that Facebook's bad for you. Social media, they're saying the damaging effects, the isolation, lots of negative things. So Crash My Table is almost the countermeasure to that, is creating real friendships. The American Medical Association says in the last 20 years, the amount of people that don't have a single friend to talk to has tripled. That's huge. That's huge, tripled. These are some things that Crash My Table can do, and these are all based off studies. The Stop an Epidemic, the U.S. Surgeon General called isolation an epidemic. So through Crash My Table, we can hopefully stop an epidemic. Live Happier, Harvard study did and everything I say is fact checkable. So if you like, where did that come from? If I didn't mention where it came from, I can give you those facts later. But Harvard did an 80-year study, and they said the key to happiness is relationships, quality relationships. And about the friendships being valuable, billionaires, Apple, Microsoft, and Google were all started by two strangers coming together. Their company's worth together is $2.2 trillion. That's 20% of all the gold that's ever been mined in the world. There's in the U.S., there's 250 million adults. Each one of those are candidates to do Crash My Table. So the revenue, or how much we can make by selling Crash My Tables at $4 copyrighted, and we put a patent on it. On top of the Crash My Table tents, we have mood balls. So you can say, like, I love pets. So you take one of these and put it on top of the table tent. So this is one of our other revenue sources for selling. We're going to have achievement pins. So let's say if you do Crash My Table in 3 states, you get an achievement pin. If you do Crash My Table with 4 different nationalities, you get an achievement pin. So we'll make money selling those. So Crash My Table, we also have a revenue stream that have restaurants that will be certified Crash My Table restaurants. So they'll pay us a monthly fee to be listed in the Crash My Table directory. The future, we can tie in with sponsors because we can geographically this, so we can tie into sponsors like Coca-Cola. It's like, oh, we want to have Crash My Table Day in the city of Chicago. So we have a lot of revenue streams for Crash My Table. Well, that's it. It's not rocket science.
Thank you so much for the presentation. What we're going to do now is a Q&A. We'll do 14 minutes of Q&A, and if you would please hold on to the microphone until your question is complete. Typically, Matt Gabay is here to do Q&A, but I'm going to do it today. So I'm going to wander around. Raise your hand if you have a question, and I'll be sure to get to you as fast as I can. So who's going to have the first question for Mr. Paul?
And no question, I won't hesitate to ask or answer any of your questions. So don't hold back.
Hey, nice presentation.
Thank you.
Very, very good concept. So you said you have a way to track how many Crash My Table happen. How do you track that?
Each of the Crash My Tables will have a number on it, a unique number, and what they'll do is they'll report their story to our website and possibly an app. I don't want to get into an app right away, but basically they'll take a selfie and we'll know the number of who that number belongs to an email, so we'll be able to track it that way.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like Vanna White today. I need some numbers, some letters to press.
Again, great presentation.
Thank you.
Quick question for you. If a person wanted to use Crash My Table to look for tables to crash, is there ability within the system to be able to, look in the area and say within a 10-mile radius of me, how many available tables are there to crash?
Well, restaurants, there's nothing that restaurants can do to stop this, because when you go into a public, like let's say a fast food, like I crash all the time at Cane's restaurants. And so there's nothing they can do because it's your table to put that on your table and stuff. So any place you want to crash. Now some people say, hey, can we use an app? Future we could have an app that would say, oh, there's 3 people that want to crash tables, but we want to keep it, we want to call this, 100% technology free, to making social. So pretty much any place that you go, you can make this happen, and restaurants, will embrace it. Eventually, once we get momentum behind this, then we'll have restaurants say, hey, I'm a Crash My Table restaurant. We'll actually hand out the Crash My Table table tents when you come in if you want one.
Okay, thanks.
I definitely love the concept, and I see the need for it. My question is, the 1 million friendships, it seems like more on the campaign side. What is the mission of Crash My Table?
Like the mission of the company or mission of the 1 million friendships?
No, the company.
The mission of the company, it comes from the heart. I believe that friendships are, like I said, the most valuable thing in the world. So I've known what friendships have done to me, and I could write a whole book, and I think all of us could. And so I want to give the world a way to make friendships, real friendships, face-to-face friendships. I know people who have thousands of friends on Facebook, and something bad happened in their life, and only one person who was their real friend, face-to-face, was there to help that person and stuff. And so that's the heart of the company. Then the second is to make money. Yeah, we'll make a lot of money. And then what other thing is the movement is I'm creating a movement to drive the business. Kind of like the ice water bucket. What was their mission? Well, they'll raise money. What did they do? They created the ice bucket challenge, and they made I think $18-20 million doing it. So I'm just tying a movement to our product.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, also great concept, because I would use it, and that's the next question. Where could I get one? Do you already purchase? Are they purchasable already? And
yeah, I have some today, but they are they're null, meaning I have some to give out, but they don't have the unique number on it, so you won't be able to participate. We already have some crazy prizes lined up. So once we reach the 1 million, let's say the top, each of the table tents will have the number on it. We'll track points. So the more points you get, we have some film studios that will give roles in movies. We have a hotel that's being built in the Caribbean. So our top prizes, top 100 people that do CMT is going to be able to have a free week vacation. We have some serious prizes coming out. So the ones I give out today, you could use them, but you can't participate in the what do you call it?
Tracking
Tracking
program.
points. So you couldn't do the, oh my gosh, the rewards, unlock the achievement rewards. Yeah.
Okay, and does it cost anything to get one, or in
Yeah,
general?
well,
it's
today
a
I'll give out some
concept?
free ones, but on the site they'll be sold. So what we're going to do, and 90%, we're a philanthropic company. My wife and I are philanthropic. My wife is from South Africa. She has literally seen people starve to death on her street. So 90% of what we make, we give out. That's it. So right now the pricing will be like two to three for $15. You know, we were doing a Kickstarter campaign, but we pulled back on that. We didn't like how we were working that.
Okay, great. Thanks.
With the number of tables you have crashed, you may have some advice for people who just occasionally come across some crazy cuss words back. So you come to me and say, I just give you back some cuss words. How would you gently respond to that?
Absolutely. We're going to, on the site, on our Crash My Table site, we'll have protocols. Be ready for that. Be ready for rejection. The reason I wear pink is because I teach on fear. I take rejection. I mean, people just look at me, stare at me crazy. So be ready for that. We're going to have protocols, like if a guy and a girl crash a table, that the girl would leave 5 to 7 minutes. Give the girl 5 to 7 minutes to get out, to get out of, the restaurant, So we'll have some protocols and stuff. But be ready for that. Be ready for that. If someone, and the person who's cussing up, they really need to have Crash My Table in their lives.
Let's talk a little about your strategic partnerships. You talked about restaurants and you talked about hotels and other things. So I'd be curious to know if you're partnering with any of the dating sites, right? So are you looking to partner with It's Just Lunch or
Are you single? Are you looking for
Tinder?
someone? We'll hook you up.
No.
Don't worry. My wife will hook
Actually,
you up.
I'm not. I did use Match years ago. I own that baby, and I didn't really like it. But outside of that, I'm just curious to know. When you think about partnerships, and I'm just trying to share learning, it just seems like to me, restaurants are great, but at least if you were targeting companies like that for sponsorship, it kind of gives people like an idea of what they might be trying to crash the table for, right? So at least I have a preface. If you're coming to my table and it has Match on my little table tent, I know that you think I'm hot and you want to hook up, right? So other than maybe you're just coming to talk about something that I'm not interested in and you don't have your mood ball, so I don't know.
Right.
So I've been listening today.
Hello?
I'm trying to put it together.
Yeah. So I don't want to isolate and pigeonhole Crash My Table as a dating thing, and that would be very easy and very quickly to do and stuff. Will it be used to make connections, relationship connections? Absolutely. The mood balls, let's say I'm a guy and I'm single, I might have a blue ball. That's pretty funny. Get it? So, so that's one thing that we don't want to make it just a dating thing, but it is gonna turn into that. And we could have entire restaurants at Crash My Table, of single nights that people like, hey, we're gonna crash my table and stuff. So yes, it'll be used for hookup. I just don't want to lead with that. I don't want to have that because I want it to be universal. People are gonna use it. Yeah, sure, they're gonna hook up. I mean, I have a commercial. Our viral commercial is gonna be a hot guy, and all these ladies are doing other things, and then they start putting their crash my tables out because they want the guy to sit there. It's pretty epic. But someone's like, oh, it's gonna make it look like it's dating. Heck, if I get 20 million people to see it, like the Razor guy did, the Razor guy who sold the company 3 years later for $5 billion, I'll do that.
I'm very interested in your getting into the schools because I want you to talk a little bit more about that. Bullying is a huge issue right now in our schools and kids with the suicide rate and everything else. One of the issues that we have is children sitting by themselves. And there are some other campaigns, of course, out there about, making sure somebody doesn't sit by themselves. But I see this being as a wonderful opportunity to get into the schools and help with the social aspect.
Absolutely. We recently came across a gentleman who is going to be our leader for getting us to school. He's been 20 years teaching in Arlington and stuff. So he came across us recently and he's like, I'm going to be your ambassador to get into schools. Absolutely. I teach in the high schools and the bullying and stuff. The bullying, we don't have a bullying problem in school. And let me just clarify, we have a fear problem. Bullies bully because they're fear. And the people that get bullied, they feed the bear with fear. So we have a fear problem. Schools, kids don't shoot up schools. Fear is causing it. And the whole thing that would stop Crash My Table, the thing that would stop someone from crashing a table, because if you're going out to lunch, and let's say you already have plans, that's cool. But if you have no plans and you go into a restaurant with Crash My Table, you don't know that that person you sit with could save your life one day, give a kidney. They could be a business partner. So why wouldn't someone crash a table? There's only one reason why. What? Fear. All your dreams in this room is blocked by one thing only, guys. It's fear. And you have a choice today not to fear no more. So Crash My Table, I have to get the public over fear even probably to use it. That's the biggest blocker, Crash My Table. And the kids that will be using it in high school and the middle schools will be a fear issue. Yes.
Hey, Paul,
Yeah.
great concept.
Thank you.
Another good application I could think of is for senior citizens, or elderly. There, and a lot of them are a lot of lonely adults out there.
Yeah.
So, have you done any work in that respect?
Well,
or-
actually, if you saw the first slide, that guy is the first guy I ever used the Crash My Table on, that senior citizen. He was eating at an Indian restaurant. I love Indian buffet restaurants. If you know any around here, that's awesome. And he was sitting there by himself, and I just went up and crashed his table. I said, sir, and that's the guy that was holding up the Crash My Table in the video.
Hi, great concept. I'm also going to throw in on top of the elderly college students, because I have a college student, and so she's at a big university, and I'm sure that they kind of have that same issue with sitting, kind of socializing, especially since they're all technology-based. But also, I missed a little bit of the front, but I am the type of person that when I meet somebody, I immediately, if I gel with them, I get their contact information. My husband is the type that he can have a long 2-hour conversation and walk away. And then he comes and tells me, and I'm like, did you get their information? So did I miss something about, is there a connection where you ask people to exchange numbers, or is it a temporary friendship? Or
We can't control that friendship. I think 3 things are going to come out of it. A, you walk away and you don't want to talk to the person again. That's it. B, something kind of good came out of it, and you maybe will contact them every couple months. 3, a good friendship comes out of it. So we have 66% chance of something good coming out of it and stuff. There is a chance you may not want to talk to that person, but we can't control the conversations. My big thing that I ask everyone, one of the first questions I ask anyone, what is your dream? Because my life is I want to help you to get that dream. So one of the things we'll put on the inside of the Crash My Table is here's some conversation starters. Not trying to sell them something, what is your dream? Let's help each other get to our dreams. That's it.
So maybe there's a prompt at the end that
Yeah.
says exchange.
Right. Well, that's something that could be a protocol, but we can't control if they're going to exchange or not and stuff. Yeah.
So let's talk about barriers to entry, going back to just the business basics. So it doesn't appear that there would be a tremendous amount of barriers to entry, given that it's a tech-free initiative.
Right.
So what are you going to do to kind of set yourself apart and to really push forward your brand awareness so that you can, drive that 1 million adoption that you're seeking?
Okay. Whenever I come up with an idea, I patent it, quickly. So we have a patent pending on this thing. Now, will it hold up? When you patent something, you basically pour the whole bucket what you want, and then the patent office picks and chooses. So I've been able to get patents actually on software, which is nearly impossible, but you can patent the process. So I'm patenting the whole process, the table tent, the balls being on top, the achievement pins and stuff. So there's nobody that has that. So what do you call it? One time in Shark Tank, a guy put a hole right here and patent the jacket, so he could run your what do you call it?
I saw that.
Is that, yeah.
I
Mark
do.
Cuban
I
tore him up
actually
too.
think I
He was
saw that. But patents are really kind of behind the scene. I'm still curious to know, what are you going to do to really push forward the early brand adoption so
Well,
that you get a first mover advantage?
Yeah, that's what we'll do. Is we'll just be the first mover advantage on this, creating the viral content around what we're doing and stuff, and just pushing it forward and stuff. Partnering with big companies, school districts, big corporations. So we'll have the brand locked in.
Okay, thank you. So the very last question is, what can we as a community do to help you, support you in your business?
Crash tables, and by you doing that, you're helping us, but you're also helping yourself. So start crashing tables.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much. I will do it.